So now I'm going to show you another way that you can test your server with a different kind of client. Like I said earlier, you can't use the browser very easily to test your SOAP client, to test your SOAP server. But there are tools inside of Eclipse that you can use to test your SOAP server, which are very effective. What you need to do is you need to install a piece of software. The software that you'll install is called SOAP UI. So you do the same thing that you did earlier to install into Eclipse. You go to Add, and you'll take this URL, paste it here. It's www.soapui.org/eclipse/update/site.xml. Any name will do. Press OK. It'll come up with this right here. You'll check the box and go through the install. It'll make you restart Eclipse after you've done that. Once you've done that, you'll have a new perspective, which is called SOAP UI. So let's go there right now. Now the only downside with SOAP UI is I find it to be just a hair slow. So just be patient with it. It is very good at what it does, but here inside of Eclipse it's just a tad slow. So here we'll do a new SOAP UI project. Give it a name. Maybe we'll call it Hello World Service. And then we'll type in the URL for our WSDL. Now what is the URL for our WSDL? It is the name of the host name / context path / CXF servlet path, whatever you put in the web XML on the server side, / the address that you placed on the server side in the JAXRS server bean element, * WSDL. So that's the path. You say OK. Loads it. There we go. So on my Hello World service, I have two methods. One is say, and one is say hello. They're really cleverly named. So if we go to say hello, then when we double click that, you'll notice that it gives us a SOAP body automatically. In a SOAP body, we'll talk about this in more detail, but in a SOAP body, you have an envelope, you have a header, and you have a body. This should sound a little familiar. It's a lot like HTML, where this is the HTML tag, this is the head tag, and this is the body tag. Inside of it, we have our actual method. And when you look, let's see if it shows it. No, I'll show you in a second after we invoke this. So actually, let's invoke it right now, and then we'll go ahead and see what the response, what the request and response look like. So what I want to pass here is my argument. So I'm calling the say hello method. And if we look back at the say hello method, we're reminded that it takes a parameter like a name. So we'll go and put the name right here. And now I can run it. And it'll give me a response back. You see that it's the same kind of thing. SOAP envelope like HTML, SOAP body like the HTML body, and then here's the response. A couple of things that you'll notice here in a SOAP response, which can also be true for the SOAP request if we so wish. First of all, there's namespacing. This is something different than we saw in REST. As was noted a number of times in class on Thursday, SOAP has namespaces because XML has namespaces. The first namespace that you notice here is SOAP itself. This is the package name, or this is the import statement for SOAP XML. That's what allows us to use envelope, SOAP body, SOAP header, and some other XML elements that we haven't learned about yet. Under here, we have the namespace for our classes. Now this is something that CXF created for you automatically, but here you can see it. and it took the package name and just put it in reverse. So it's service.hello.csc380.newmont.edu. So everything in here will adhere to that namespace, and we'll see that in a little bit more detail in a moment. So that's the return. Hi. Now if you look at the raw request, we'll see that this looks like a normal SOAP request. The body is this, and then the rest is a regular HTTP request. It's a post. It uses this URL. This is the same URL that it will use every time it wants to send a post, regardless, or a SOAP request, regardless of the circumstance. And then it always uses content type XML. The very important thing to notice is this SOAP action. This is the thing that's actually calling the method. This says, find the say hello method and pass it this value into the method. So let's do it with another one, something that's a little bit more complicated. So here you can see the same kind of aspects to it. We're calling the say method now, and this is the dynamically created say, quote unquote, the say type that is created in SOAP. And we have a message. And this is an echo server, so we're going to say how many times I want it to echo, and how voluminous the canyon is, how often it will, how far it will stretch out the word. So then we go ahead and say go. We say here's the return. Now a couple of things to notice here. First of all, it returned it as an attribute. The second thing to notice is that it gave the response. It stretched it out and repeated it just like I asked it to. It said it once, and then here's 4 echoes. And then it stretched out the O's on it in sort of a fun way. So you can use this to go ahead and test your SOAP server to make sure that it's working according to the ways that you want it. This is an example of another client that you can use in order to test your server. For the assignment, you'll be using both in order to get experience with both, since you'll need both for the larger SOAP assignment that you'll be getting next week. Anyway, that's it for SOAP UI. All you do, quick review, you install the software, you open this up, create a new SOAP UI project, give it the WSDL URL, and then you can double click these and send responses back and forth, requests and responses back and forth to your heart's content.